Welcome everybody to Tailgate Tuesday. If this is your first time to my channel, I want to take a moment to welcome you and invite you, if you'd like, to drop down below and hit the subscription button and ring the bell icon. That way you won't miss any of my awesome videos. So our topic today we're going to be talking about is why you may not be getting enough hot water in your home, or why your heater isn't heating at all. In the next few minutes, I'm going to go through a couple different parts that are in most basic electric water heaters, and what you could be looking for that may be failing and causing it so you have the lack thereof of hot water. Now let me take a moment real quick and emphasize safety, okay? Because if this is something that you're not comfortable with doing, I strongly suggest you stop and you call yourself a licensed plumber and make sure he comes out and he does the right job so you and your family stay safe. Okay, so you've decided you want to tackle this project and figure out how you can maintain your water heater by yourself. You're going to need a few things to get started with. I always, first of all, strongly suggest that you get yourself a multimeter. This is an electrician's tool. But this baby right here is the difference between you getting shocked or doing a job safely. These usually run anywhere from $30 to $50, and it's a good idea to have one of these things in your home, not just for plumbing, for other things that you might run across when it comes to knowing what kind of power you're working with. For around $50 or so, any big box store or plumbing supply, you're going to want to end up picking up these guys. These are the Elements. This is rated for pretty much most electric water heaters. This system runs off of 220 volts. They come together. There's two of them, one for the upper, one for the lower, with the two seals. We'll show you how that goes on. And with that kit usually comes an upper thermostat as well as a lower thermostat. These should come together, and for the most part you should be able to find them for around $50. Not a bad idea to pick up one of these little socket wrenches. They're specifically made in the size for an Element. As you can see that, and that way you can put a wrench on here and you can back that Element out and take a look at it. So let's get started, and I'll show you exactly the steps you need to do before you get involved with all this stuff. Okay, first of all, you're going to want to find your circuit breaker board in your home and try to locate where that breaker is that controls the power to your water heater. Usually on 40-gallon electric water heaters, they're going to be rated at 220 volts, okay? So you're looking for usually a double breaker. Okay, so don't trust every marking that's inside of your electrical panel, because they're marked wrong all the time. So don't take the chance and think, oh, hey, here it is, this is the one I need to shut off. Make sure you have your multimeter with you, because you're going to want to make sure that that is off, or else you're going to get shocked, perhaps killed. Okay, so once you decipher and you find out exactly what breaker in your electrical panel controls the power into your water heater, you're going to want to go ahead and open up that top panel very carefully. If you're not comfortable with this, stop what you're doing and call a licensed plumber. But if you're careful enough and you're not an idiot and start grabbing wires and stuff like that, one of the biggest things you should actually do is, first of all, cut the power off to the water heater. Go ahead and take your screwdriver and back off your top two screws for your upper element. Alright, now you take those wires away from the terminals. Okay, so they're just kind of hanging out here and they're not touching anything whatsoever, they're just hanging out. Proceed back over to your electrical panel, turn on that circuit, come back, and what you want to do is you want to grab your multimeter, and they have different settings on here. The best setting that you can set this thing at to test is at your 600 volts alternator current, okay, right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to want to take your two little contacts and you're going to want to test your red and black. They're on there, not on your thermostat, but the two wires that you pulled away from that thermostat. We're going to want to test and make sure that we're getting enough electricity, first of all, into your water heater. Breakers go bad all the time, okay, so you can't just assume it's a problem with the water heater. Okay, so first and foremost, you want to make sure you have enough power that's going into your water heater. Usually it's rated, it's going to be around 218 to 220-ish, somewhere in there. Anything less than that, and you're not going to get enough power into your water heater to heat those elements up. Okay, now that you've found out you have enough power going into your water heater, you're going to want to go back over to your electrical panel and cut that breaker off. That way you can work safely and not around live power. Okay, so below your thermostat, this is the upper thermostat, you're going to see one of these guys. This is going to be your element. Alright, now saying that you're working on this, the power's off, we know all that, it's good to go. Down here where your element is, you're going to want to take back these two small screws off and pull the wires away from the back of the element. Alright, next thing you're going to do, this is still inside of the water heater, is take your multimeter and you're going to want to find the settings right here that looks like an ohm symbol at the bottom. You want to go down to it, alright? And what we're looking for is continuity. Alright, this is a circuit. Power 110, 110, that's 220. Power is going to want to have a complete circuit going all the way through on here in order to create a perfect circuit for this element to work. So we're going to take our multimeter, and remember, you've already taken and removed these wires and pulled them to the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to test both of these sides, and we're looking to hear that? That means my continuity is exactly where it needs to be, and I have a complete circuit and nothing is rotted away or broken. Your thermostat usually should be set at around 120 to 125 degrees. Okay, anything more than that, you risk getting scalded. So don't really mess with that, because a heater will work efficiently if it's set properly. But if you look on the back of the element, you have these two little sensors. These sit smack dab against the wall of your water heater, which senses and picks up the temperature that your water is inside of that heater, which tells the scene to turn on or turn off in order to regulate the amount of water that you have as a temperature in your water heater. This is the same process when it comes to the lower element and thermostat as well. So just repeat as it goes. Now if you do happen to test one of these elements out with your continuity on here and you don't hear that beep, or you don't have a signal that's telling you got good continuity, that means that this element is probably rotted away and there's a breach somewhere in here and it's broken, and now it's not able to produce hot water. At this time you're going to want to go ahead and shut the water off to your water heater, okay, and hook a garden hose to the bottom drain valve. And you're going to want to go ahead and get the water out of that water heater before you decide to take this thing out. Now that's where this tool comes into place. This is a water heater element socket wrench. Sits right on there. Okay, now let's say all the water's out of the tank, we can take and we can go ahead and back that element out. Pull it out of there, inspect it, see it's a bad element. Okay, once we know that's out of there, we take our new element with our little ring gasket, rubber gasket, slide it on here like so. This is going to seal it. Now we got a new good product. Just reverse your process, put it back into the water heater with your wrench, tighten it up so it's really nice and snug. You don't want to break it, but you want to make sure this is not going to leak on you. Okay, so now we have replaced an element in a water heater. I strongly suggest that if you go to the process and replace these elements inside of your water heater, at that time go ahead and replace your thermostats as well. Okay, it's like only changing one tire on a car. You don't do that. You go ahead and replace them all at the same time. That way everything is getting the same amount of wear time. And last but not least, not to beat a dead dog, always operate and exercise with safety. At any time you don't feel comfortable doing any of this kind of stuff, stop what you're doing, get on the phone, call your favorite local licensed plumber, have him come out. You're going to spend a little bit of money, but this way you're going to have a little bit of peace of mind, and you're not the guy that's going to have to worry about getting into all the stuff we're talking about. So I hope this video has helped you out in some way or another. I'm sure I'm leaving out all kinds of goodies. I will be releasing another video sometime within the next few weeks on some more details about water heaters, what makes the thing work, troubleshooting, all these other good things. But today I just wanted to show you a couple signs and tips that maybe you might be able to tackle on your own if you're adventurous enough to figure out and to solve the problem when it comes to not having enough hot water. Thanks for all the comments and the likes and views. Please make sure to drop down below and subscribe, and Happy New Year everybody, and until next time, I'll see ya.